Hi, everybody. I got to warn you in advance, if you're expecting a very serious AI talk about vibe coding, this is not this talk. This is a deeply unserious talk, I have to tell you in advance. But I think it's kind of fun. So welcome to Vibe School. Making dumb devices smart with AI. My name is Katie, also known as Insider PhD, and I am a YouTuber. I'm a security advocate, which means I have a really fun job of just going to companies and telling them, by the way, do you know that security is important? And they go, yeah. I'm like, great, can you buy the product my company sells? I work for SemGrep. So I am very new to hardware hacking. So this is my first and most recent project. I'm very proud of it. It programs e-ink labels for me for my 3D printing filament. I designed everything from the box to the little thing on the bottom and all of the little parts, including CADing them, and it worked. And off of the back of this immense achievement, I decided I'm good at this. Now, something I want you to keep in mind as I talk about this is this thing my partner said. So when I started to take up electronics, he said to me, it's expensive to be bad at this, huh? After I tell him I need to make another order on AliExpress. And I want you to remember this throughout the presentation because this will come up. There is a test at the end. I'm pretty sure you know what the answer is. Now, I'm British. I live in the UK. We all look forward to summer. The rain gets warmer in the UK. And to be honest, in the UK, you really can't join topical conversations unless you are very informed about the weather. Heat wave, moan and complain. Rain, moan and complain. Ice, moan and complain. Snow, guess what? Grey, but it doesn't actually rain. Yeah, moan and complain, right? Brits love talking about the weather. It's the first thing we do whenever we do anything. So in order to join this hot topical conversation, I want a weather station, right? I want a smart weather station. I want one that fits into my home assistant because I'm really into my smart home stuff. And I look at the price of these and I'm like, geez, 135 quid, that's a lot of money. And again, I want you to remember it's expensive to be bad at this. So instead of ordering the £135 weather station that I know works with Home Assistant and that I know will work with everything else, I decide my order is going to be for one, a radio weather station with these little sensors that talk to a base station, and an ESP32. So here's the plan, right? We're going to get AI to do it for me, because I'm not going to do it. So 1, define my goal. It's to make a weather station. 2, get AI to do it for me. 3, for profit. So my AI of choice in this adventure is Gemini, and there's a few reasons why. 1 is because it can use the internet as sources, and it's less likely to make stuff up. Now, is it impossible for Gemini to hallucinate? No, of course it's not. It's going to make stuff up all the time. But it does use the internet, so that's slightly better. It can generate code pretty well. It supports deep research to research presumably deeply. And it comes free with my subscription to my smart doorbell. So if I want to have the smart doorbell, I may as well use the thing I already purchased. And so the way I started is by creating a gem. So a gem in Gemini allows you to kind of customize the output of Gemini by feeding it stuff. So you get 10 files. So I was like, what 10 files are going to help me the most? And I picked these books. So I picked Eugene Lim's From Day Zero to Zero Day. That's about hacking stuff, right? 0 Day is probably relevant. Practical IoT Hacking sounds practical and relevant. Hacking APIs by Corey Ball. The Hardware Hacker's Handbook, some ESP stuff, and some other stuff about programming in C. Now, I had to give it instructions as well. So it started with, you're an expert, you are a IoT and API security expert, which it kept reminding me of every single message. As a cybersecurity expert, we get it, you're an expert. So, what are the rules? Here are the rules I come up with. Gemini only, no Googling anything, right? Like if we have to Google something, we've cheated. AI-generated code can be debugged by a human, but also by AI. I can buy parts, but only what Gemini tells me to buy. If Gemini tells me to buy the wrong thing, well, sucks to be me. And I can include libraries, but again, only what Gemini tells me to do, right? No thoughts, just vibes. Like, that is what we're going for. Okay, so step one, what is the first step? Great question. Gemini, what's the first step? So I started with deep research. So if you've never used this in Gemini, it basically tries to create like a research report around your projects, and this is how it develops it into an action plan. And it will kind of turn it into like a step-by-step. Honestly, this took like so long, and I should have just Googled it. It was not great, and it took forever. I was sitting there being like, is it done yet? Is it done yet? Is it done yet? Is it done yet? So here's the prompt. Here's what I said. So I want to complete a project to combine my specific radio weather station that will come up, an ESP32C6, again, very specific, that's the one I had, via Zigbee, because that one supports Zigbee. Identify what needs to be done, what the deliverables are, any sources that will be needed, and then, I said, can we also include steps to implement the ESP32 at the main hub weather station? And I started with the sniffing SPI lines. And they basically, Gemini told me, you idiot, why are you sniffing SPI lines? You can do radio frequency. Don't worry, this won't be actually the first time Gemini insults my intelligence. It does it multiple times. So, okay, what's the result? There's a lot of steps here. There's a lot of text. It just produced a really long report. I'm gonna keep it for reference, but this is too much. But it's okay because we can get Gemini to turn it into a TLDR, which is what we do. Please turn it into 5 steps. So 1, we're gonna capture the weather data with an SDR dongle. Didn't know what that was, by the way, when I first started. I'm gonna have a receiver, again, sure, I guess. Get it working with Visual Studio Code, get it working with Zigbee, connect it all up to Home Assistant, problem solved, right? Here's the slight problem here, though, because the ESP32 needs to be configured before we add a receiver to it. So I corrected it and told it it's wrong. So it's fine, we got it fixed. And then shopping time. So I bought everything they told me to buy. Again, it's expensive to be bad at this, huh? You will very quickly see what the end result of this is. So step 1, capture weather data with an SDR dongle. So dongle check, software check, knowing how to use it, no idea. But it created these nice, pretty pictures, and I assume there was some data coming out of it, but it's okay, because it told me what to use. So I looked at the analyzing signals, I get it a little screenshot, and it's like, yes, correct, it is working. And it was like, now you have to use RTL 433. And I was like, okay, great. What's that? But it decoded it, right? So yeah, we got this. Okay, cool, right. So then we have the packets. Wow, okay, so I tried to, it's explained to me what the packet structure was. And I was looking at GitHub, and it was like, hey, you should check out GitHub to see the implementation of this. And I was like, is that cheating? So I did get the information, and I sent it the source file. I said, here, please extract the packet structure. And then we set up Visual Studio Code. Then we gave up with Visual Studio Code because it was not working very well. And then we went back to good old-fashioned Arduino's IDE instead. It would turn on like this, but it would do literally nothing else. So throw that away. That doesn't matter. Where do we plug everything in? Okay, so I ask it, here is the schematics for the dev board. Where do I plug stuff in? Again, I don't know how to do electronics, so we're vibe soldering, vibe electronicsing. And I said, here, tell me where to put it in. So I put it in, and it was like, hey, this is where you put the antenna. Sorry, what? I didn't buy an antenna. Do I need to buy one of those on Amazon? I then learned that I could make an antenna. Good day, right? We don't need to buy another Amazon purchase. Instead, we've just got a piece of wire that I stripped, and I kind of turned upwards like this. So great. Right, then it came to the packet structure. So I gave it the structure that I'd found, and I said, here's the file, please extract the packet structure. And this took a lot of prompting. This was an absolute nightmare. I cannot tell you how broken this was. It could not decode it. Like, it doesn't matter exactly what I did, I just couldn't do it. And I was like, okay, I got channel 1 to work, channel 2 doesn't work. And it was like, okay, I've got it to work a little bit, and then there's not enough data for the packet. And I'm like, nope, not working, still not working, please fix it. And the sass I got, my God, what a cheeky, it was like the amount of sass of, you are absolutely correct. Your observation that this is not working is correct. Like, I can see that it's not working. And when I tried to help it debug its code, I was like, hey, can you try this, this, and this? And telling it what was wrong, it was like, no, you are wrong. Okay, right. Well, it then sent me this. It's like, please upload this final sketch to your ESP32. When our weather station transmits, you should now see the fully decoded data printed in the serial monitor. It's a very bold claim. Was it correct? Oh, actually, yeah, it was actually correct. It worked. And I was like, yes, sorted, done. And then this was the final decode algorithm. It was essentially like the infinifactory like C from the RTL 433. And it just like, it was literally the same code in Arduino. So perfect, sorted. I then let AI take the lead. You know, I said that the problem why it wasn't working, maybe it was the loop, it was going a bit too fast. And there are some quirks here to like get it to work. Often when it comes to working with AI, you have to get it to regenerate its whole code from scratch all the time, because as soon as you touch it, it forgets how to program. It's like, I'm done, I'm out of here, like I can't do this. And every single time, and I'd made this mistake multiple times, over many projects, by the way, as well, when code worked, I didn't actually commit that anywhere. So what would often happen is it would give me working code. It would break something on something else, and I have to go back to the working code and then remind it, hey, this is the code that worked. And it doesn't quite understand how its code becomes like output, so it can't really debug things. And this eventually got to this state. I understand your frustration, and I sincerely apologize. The custom code that has been so unreliable. We have reached the point where the problem is no longer a simple bug, but a very difficult timing and signal to noise issue that is extremely hard to solve reliably on a microcontroller with this type of receiver. Challenge accepted. I don't give up. Why did it work? Well, it turns out it was working when it was printing stuff. Now, what was happening is, because I was printing to the serial port, it was slowing down the loop enough that it was able to actually like slow it down so it could actually not be milliseconds between each packet capture. And then I told it that it worked. Because I don't know why I told it it was working now, and I just wanted to show off to it. I was like, you gave up, but I didn't. And you know, it said I nailed it. Thanks, I did. I have a degree in computer science, by the way. And finally, we have it working. Can anyone see the problem? They were right next to each other and the temperatures are completely wrong. Okay, let's not worry too much about the weather station being broken. ESP home. So originally my plan was to use Zigbee on the ESP like 32 and use the existing Sky Connect little dongle that I have that I've already used in my Zigbee home assistant. And AI talked me out of it because I was like, I really want to use Zigbee. And it was like, no, don't use Zigbee. Use ESP home instead. And also at this time, it was like, you are not capable of doing this. Wounded. Right, let's keep going. So then it started arguing with ESP home. When it came to like generating the config files, this took a while. Here is a lovely like a video of my chat with it trying to like actually get it to generate the config files correctly. I thought it would be cheating to do it myself. So I thought, well, I'm just going to continue to use AI. And I had to tell the AI, can you read the documentation, please? I gotta say, like, the more I was working with AI on this project, the more angry I was getting at it. I was genuinely becoming quite abusive to the poor little AI. And it really struggled with the YAML configuration. So much so I then ran out of time on the good coding version. So it took 4 or 5 hours of prompting. And this entire time I was thinking to myself, it's just YAML. Like, would it be cheating that much if I just did it myself? And I decided to commit to the bit. And I was like, nope, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. And finally, when we got there eventually, we realized my ESP32C6 does not work with ESP Home, and that was the problem. But finally, it's finally happened that I did the thing what wasn't going to work, but I had the parts for it. I didn't have to buy anything. So I had another ESP32 lying around, so I just switched it out and then it worked. And there we go, there's my final hardware configuration. You can see it has all of 8 wires. This took me several days, okay? I cannot tell you how much my soul left my body for this project. And the temperature sensors are also wrong. They're completely wrong. But here it is in all its glory, the final output. Over second. Unfortunately, over a second, you can see channel 1 has massive temperature fluctuations that had absolutely nothing to do with me. Channel 2 was fine, they were next to each other. Unfortunately, the weather station it's broken. So, wait a second, why are the temperatures so different? They're right next to each other, they should have the same value. Yeah, it's expensive to be bad at this, huh? Because I bought all of those parts. And I had to just buy one anyway because it didn't work. But it's expensive to be bad at this. I encourage you, should you have the disposable income, to give IoT hacking a try. And why not get Gemini to do it for you? You can vibe, you can enjoy it, while the rest of us break into tears. Thank you very much, everybody. I have 5 minutes for questions. If anybody wants to ask questions, yeah, go for it. 2.5 Pro. Honestly, though, I also not included in this because I was getting ChatGPT to check Gemini's work because I wasn't sure exactly which one I'd commit to in the final presentation. And actually, I did find that Gemini worked better than ChatGPT, but I don't have a subscription for that. So it's literally just because I had the Google subscription. Yeah, go for it.
Why do you think the YAML file had so much trouble with YAML?
So I think it's probably just because there's probably less in its training data, likely. YAML isn't really especially Home Assistant stuff, it's so specific, and it's so specific to your configurations that I wonder if it was just that actually it didn't have any training data, so it was essentially hallucinating what to tell me, and just guessing. Though, to be honest, I don't really know. Not included in this, but one time when I was actually playing with the YAML, I managed to break Google Gemini and have it output a bunch of absolute garbage out of its, I think from its training data, and I could not replicate that. So I was going to submit that as a bug to Gemini, but it didn't work. Yeah. So if I'd done that, I probably wouldn't have spent 4 to 5 hours prompting it. It's that kind of ingenious that vibe coders are missing. No, I didn't. I mean, part of it is also because I didn't want to cheat too much. I wanted to try and get the AI to do it on its own, because I thought it'd make a funny talk more than anything else. But yeah, I would suspect that if you were doing this for real and actually trying to get this to you're actually using it as a coding buddy, a kind of emotional support AI as you're working on electronics projects, that would probably be a better approach. Yep.
Rather than using AI, do you think you should use one of those ducks that you talk to when you program?
I think it would have been more effective, yeah. If I had just sat there and spoken to the duck and been please help me write my C code. Yeah, probably. Honestly, AI, what made it so convincing was this project I showed at the start. So a lot of the UI for this was vibe coded because I wasn't really familiar with this touchscreen interface. And I was trying to load it from an API. So my background is in like web development. So I was like, okay, I'm going to make it a RESTful API. And so this gave me a lot of hope that AI would be good at something. Unfortunately, if it doesn't have an API, AI is really bad at it, actually. Here you go. There's my thing here of having my little tags update. Again, this gave me a lot of hope that AI would be good at this, and that was dashed very quickly. Any other questions? Yep. Sorry, can you say that a bit louder? I don't know, to be honest. I feel like it did simply because it knew that radio frequency analysis would be the best approach. Because I didn't know that at the start. Like, radio frequency analysis was very, very new to me. Actually, the first thing I did when I got one of the dongles, I live near an airport. I was like, okay, it's time to listen to air traffic control, because I learned that's what you can do with it. But I didn't know it was a thing. Like, I was fully intending to like open up the main like body and then go into the SPI lines and get the data from there and like hook something onto the back of that PCB, rather than the approach I ended up going, which is going for the radio frequency analysis. And it did tell me it would be easier. And of course, I didn't have the skills to do the other one, which it was probably right. Yep.
So do you upload to GitHub for your repo?
Do you want to see the code? I will. I'll upload it tonight. Check my.
So if you ran the code, right, and you're having problems, can you run it through another AI engine like Copilot?
Oh, and then like see what I could improve on. I was getting so angry at Gemini. I don't think I would have had the patience for another AI. I think I was getting, like, I cannot tell you, I was getting genuinely angry. The ship of Theseus. It's a good idea. I'll put the code up on GitHub if people want to have a go and see if they can ship of Theseus. My code, you're welcome to. This vibe coded project is on GitHub. It's in a GitHub gist under my username inside a PhD. Right, thank you so much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the conference.